Saidam students, welcome back. Today we are going to learn EVS 1 Geography 3rd chapter, the Earth and its living world, revision part 2. But before that, let's take a short recap what we have done in our previous session. So we have learned the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, surface water, lakes, then water in the form of ice and groundwater. And today we are going to revise the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so the atmosphere, the envelope of air around the Earth is called the atmosphere. So students, in simple words we can say the air around the Earth is called the atmosphere. And as we go higher from the surface of the Earth, the air in the atmosphere becomes rarer. Means the air in the atmosphere becomes rarer as we go higher from the Earth's surface. Okay. Now the next one. The air consists of a mixture of gases, namely nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor and carbon dioxide. There are some other gases too in the air in very small quantities. This means students, nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor and carbon dioxide are a mixture of gases consist in the air. Okay. Then in very small quantities of some other gases are too present in air. Okay. Now the next, the layers of the atmosphere are named as the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. The layers that extend from the Earth's surface to a height of about 13 km is called the troposphere. This means students, the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere are the layers of the atmosphere, and these layers extends from the Earth's surface to a height of about 13 km and it is called the troposphere. Okay. Now the next, the conditions in the troposphere change continuously. They affect the living world to a great extent. Means troposphere affects the living world to a great extent and the conditions in it change continuously. Okay. Now the next thing. The surface of the earth gets heated due to the heat it receives from the sun. Hence, the air nearest the surface is the hottest. As we go higher in the troposphere, it becomes cooler. So, students, due to the heat received from the sun, the surface of the earth gets heated and so the air nearest to the surface is hottest, and as we go higher in the troposphere it becomes cooler. Okay. Now the next. Almost all the water vapor in the atmosphere is contained in the troposphere. That is why all weather related phenomena such as formation of clouds, rain, fog, wind and storms take place in the troposphere. Okay. This means the water vapor in the atmosphere is contained in the troposphere only, and because of which weather related phenomena such as formation of clouds, rain, fog, winds and storms take place in the troposphere. Okay. Now the next. The air on high mountains is rarer than the air near the Earth's surface. Aeroplanes fly in the higher part of the troposphere. This means aeroplanes fly in the higher parts of the troposphere because the air on high mountains is rarer than the air near the Earth's surface. Okay. And so there the air is very rare. Therefore, arrangements have to be made to ensure that passengers traveling in an and aeroplanes get enough air for breathing. This means, students, aeroplanes fly at the higher level of the troposphere. Here, the air is rare. There can be less oxygen present, which is necessary for breathing. So, therefore, passengers who are in the aeroplanes need some arrangement to ensure that they get enough air for breathing. Okay. Now the next. Beyond the troposphere, up to a height of about 50 kilometers from the earth is the layer called the stratosphere. In the lower part of the stratosphere, there is a layer of a gas called ozone. This means, students, so far then, from the troposphere up to a height of about 50 kilometers from the earth is the layer called the stratosphere. And there is a layer of a gas in the lower part of the stratosphere. It is called ozone layer. Okay. Now the next. Ultraviolet rays coming from the sun are harmful for living things, but the ozone layer absorbs them and protects the living world from those rays. Okay. This means ultraviolet rays coming from the sun are harmful for living things, but the ozone layer absorb the ultraviolet rays and protect the living world. Okay. Now the next. How does it rain? This is the picture of water cycle. Okay, students. See, water on the earth evaporates continuously due to the heat of the sun. So, because of this heat of the sun, what happens? Water on the earth evaporates continuously due to the heat of the sun. Now, water that has percolated into the soil, water that has percolated into the soil here, evaporates due to the heat and enters the atmosphere. Then it evaporates and enters into the atmosphere. As the water vapor is lighter than air, it rises high up into the atmosphere. It rises high up into the atmosphere. Okay. As it goes higher, it cools and condenses, forming very fine droplets of water. See, here it cools and condenses, forming very fine droplets of water. The droplets are so small and tiny that they float in the atmosphere, forming clouds. Okay. Now, these small drops join together and form bigger drops which are heavy. Here you can see. Okay. Which are heavy. They cannot float. Such drops of water fall down on earth in a form of rain. See here. Form of rain. This rainwater flows into rills, then streams, rivers, and finally into sea. This process of evaporation, then condensation and rainfall go on in a continuous cycle. See, you can see continuous cycle. This is known as water cycle in nature. Okay. Now the next is the biosphere. There are innumerable kinds of living things on the earth. The various regions of the earth differ in many ways. Okay. This means, students, there are too many, or you can say in Hindi, unginat kinds of living things on the earth. And this means one region is different from the other. Okay. Now the next. Some regions are always covered with ice, while others have a hot climate. There are mountains in some places and plains in others. This means, students, some regions have a hot climate and some have snowfalls, means cold climate. Okay, because of unevenness of landforms, there are mountains in some places and in some places there are plains. Okay, now the next point. Some places have a lot of rainfall while others are dry desert. There are salty seas and oceans and also freshwater lakes. This means, as you know, in Rajasthan is a dry desert area and Maharashtra have a lot of rainfall. So some places have a lot of rainfall while others are dry desert. And we even have oceans and seas whose water is salty, and even we have fresh water lakes. For example, the water which we use also come from freshwater lakes. Okay, so there are salty seas and oceans and also freshwater lakes. Next, the ocean is shallow near the coast, but away from the coastline, the ocean can be several kilometers deep. This means, students, near the ocean, it is not so deep, but away from the coastline, the ocean can be very deep. Okay, means बहुत गहरा. Next, we see a great variety in living things that inhabit these different regions. The polar bear is seen only in the snow-bound polar region. This means, students, many living things are being seen that live in these different regions. And so we can see polar bear in snowy region like Alaska, Canada, Russia. Okay. Now the next. Zebra are found in Africa and kangaroos are found only in Australia. These animals are not found in any other regions. This means, students, because the climate required for them to survive is present there, we can see zebra are found in Africa and kangaroos are found only in Australia. Okay. And elephants and lions are found in the regions of hot climate. Okay. Next, plants in all these different regions also show a great variety. This variety is the characteristics of those different regions. Means this variety of plants is the features of those different regions. So plants in all these different regions also show a great variety. Okay. Next, many different kinds of plants, animals and microorganisms are found everywhere on the earth, on land, in water and in the air. Means we can find everywhere on the earth, on land, in water and in the air many different kinds of plants, animals and microorganisms. Okay. Now the next thing. Living things exist in the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. They also interact with these spheres. This living world constitutes the biosphere. So the living world constitutes the biosphere and they interact with the spheres. So living things exist in lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Okay. So what we have learned? We have learned the atmosphere and the biosphere. Okay. Now we will do the activity. State right or wrong. Students, here two options are given, right and wrong. The statement is given, you are going to just tick the right option. Okay. So the first one is kangaroos are found only in Australia. A right, B wrong. So what will be the answer? Yes, A right. Very good. Second, the polar bear is seen only in the hot climate. A right, B wrong. What will be the answer? Polar bear, yes, B wrong. Very good. Third, Elephants and lions are found in regions of snow-bound regions. A, right? B, wrong. Yes? Where are elephants found? Yes, B, wrong. Elephants are found in, yes, hot climate. Very good. So that's all for today. Sai Ram. Thank you.